Hi everyone, thanks so much for waiting. Sorry about the delay. Welcome to the Women on YouTube panel at Summer in the City. First, I just want to run down and introduce my panelists today. Louise, let's start with you.
Hello, my name is Louise and my channel is Sprinkleofglitter, and it's just sort of light and fluffy and lovely and sparkly about all the things. You know what one it is.
My name is Lex, and my channel is Tyrannosaurus Lex, and I make videos about things.
I genuinely like this channel a lot. I watch every single video, and you notice that she's done end cards now. Who told you to do end cards, Lex?
You told me to do
You're welcome. Now you can watch more of them in a row.
Over on the other side.
Hello, I'm Rose Ellen Dix, and my channel is Rose Ellen Dix, creative. I do videos, sort of entertainment videos every week, along with my girlfriend Rosie.
My channel's TheRockSetterer. I make videos with Rose, normally about, like, we spontaneously rap really badly.
Very talented, actually.
Yeah, we lack talent. We play GTA really badly, and I also have a separate channel, TheRockSetterer, where I do beauty and stuff.
Thanks. Hello, my name's Laura. I have a channel called Laurbubble, and I do comedy video blogs.
Sweet, thank you. And my name's Rosianna. My channel is youtube.com/Rosianna, and I vlog about stuff as well. So today is where I want to have a really kind of casual and honest discussion about your experiences as women on YouTube. One thing you might notice that I did want to like openly say outright is that this is an all-white panel, and so you don't have a great representation of everyone on YouTube. And I think Rosie, you were talking earlier about this a bit as well?
Yeah, I was just saying that obviously now we're in 2014 and everything's PC and we're like this generation. Obviously that we were just on a panel with a transgender person. So obviously if you're transgender, you can identify as a woman as well. So even though we're biologically women, there are people who biologically aren't women, but they are women. So we're not representing everyone, basically. Yeah. We could do with some more, but, you know.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But mainly I want to start talking about visibility. So at a lot of these events, if you look at the special guest pages, or if you just look at kind of the programming and stuff, you'll see that it's around a third women. I think Buffer Festival is about 13% women so far, who they've announced so far. Is that because there are fewer female YouTubers? Or why is that? Why do you think there's less of women being kind of raised up in those places?
I think it's all about demographics sometimes as well. I mean, not all about, but definitely a feature within that. I mean, I think the boys, they do sort of attract a lot of girls. And I think, you know, there are just so many girls who love these boys. And I correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, the people who are putting on Summer in the City are obviously going to market it to the audience, you know, who's going to buy the tickets, who wants to come. And the audience is predominantly girls. So therefore, maybe that's a reason why the guys are kind of, you know, it's like fans. You know, some of the boys on YouTube have such fangirls. It's like One Direction are here. You know, we've got some big guys, some big names. People are desperate to see them.
Alfie and Marcus. I mean, truth.
Hello. So if there was more males in the audience, maybe we'd have more females on top. Maybe it's to do with the audience rather than. I'm not. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's not necessarily always about who you're attracted to as well, though, because that's not. I mean, I don't just watch YouTube videos of people that I do have crushes on a lot of people I watch YouTube videos of. Mostly women.
But
so.
If you were 14.
Yeah.
And you were watching these guys that were like older than you, and let's face it, none of them are bad looking. Like, I think that would be a big draw. Like, I'm 14, and some of them I'm like.
And they're normal guys as well. They're good-looking guys, but they're normal guys. They're not. They're like celebrities, but they're not. They're more obtainable than like Harry Styles to the 14-year-old.
Not anymore. They're not.
I do think it's partly about exposure as well, though, because when I was a teenager, we were discussing earlier, like women were on top. Like we had predominantly women that were like successful on the site, and they would be on the top-rated pages, on the most popular pages. And unfortunately, I think. Sort of like once you've already kind of got predominantly kind of successful men, there's a lot of like all-male sketches, you know, and a lot of like all-male videos, and they don't include sort of like females. So all you do then is you turn on the front page and you see men, 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 men. So I think it's a visibility problem, because I think more women than ever like are starting to do videos on YouTube now. I don't think it's like a number thing. I think it's kind of getting that exposure and kind of competing alongside rather than working with the men, really. It's kind of almost like, you know, trying to kind of be successful, like you said, amongst these kind of like young, good-looking boys.
Yeah, yeah.
I think for you, it's even worse with the lack of women on top, women visibility,
Yeah.
just because of your niche is comedy. That
Comedy.
is, obviously, it's such a stereotype. The women aren't funny.
I was just going to
but-
say,
Women
the
aren't
common
Which I've
funny.
heard
Yeah.
people say,
There's
unfortunately.
like 3 main problems, I think, if you're a woman in comedy, like trying to get into comedy. I do a lot of work outside of YouTube in comedy. The first is, you should do hair and makeup videos. What foundation are you using? And that's fine, like people do fashion and beauty, but I have absolutely no idea how to do that. So I know that I'm only being told that because I'm a woman. I think the second one is, you should sex up your videos, make it sexy. And again, I'm only being told that because I'm a woman. And the third one is, when you do get that work, or you kind of get that, you know, that part on the show or whatever, you are the token woman. And that's also irritating, because you don't want just the job because you're the token woman, and that's like the
And
other.
you also said earlier that if you're being the token woman, you know, that the men sort of pick on you a bit as well, don't they?
Easy target,
Yeah,
perhaps,
easy
aren't
they?
target. Yeah.
I think also it not just to do with visibility, but also to do with the amount of and the kind of type of abuse that you get thrown at you when you're a woman on YouTube. It's men also get bullied on YouTube, very true, and get nasty comments, but I think there's a very sexual undertone all the time. It's very much not like, it's not just I want to hurt you, it's I want to hurt you in this sexual way, which can be very off-putting, especially when, I don't know if this is everyone's experience, but as a woman myself, I feel like I do get sexually harassed and assaulted sometimes, and I do kind of constantly live in fear of that whenever I'm walking out by myself, walking at night, stuff like that. And when you have that in the real world, and then you're getting messages that say, I want to attack you in this sexual way, it feels very real and very, like, it feels like a credible threat, because I'm feeling that threat all the time. So I just feel like there's a very specific, sexual undertone to the kind of comments that we might get.
Definitely.
I was just actually talking to Rose today about this, with the comments female YouTubers get versus the comments male YouTubers get. When I first started making videos with Rose, we didn't have much of an audience at all. We weren't doing it to be big YouTubers. We just started making videos in our pajamas with no makeup on, and people said to me, "You're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly." So then later on we got a bit bigger, more people calling me ugly, so I put some makeup on. Recently they said, "You look like a cheap whore," was what I got. But you know, I know that every YouTuber gets, especially with the bigger the audience, the more trolls, the more people, you get a mix of comments, but scrolling through, you know, some big names of male YouTubers and their comments, they don't get that.
They're very appearance-focused for women. I feel personally they are very much like, you're a woman on YouTube. That gives me the right to criticise what you look like.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to throw out a bit of controversy there.
Fine.
I agree that sometimes you do get horrible comments and things like that, and I am actually quite fortunate in that I don't get those sexual comments. Maybe they just don't fancy me as much as they should, but they just don't write it, and I'm fine with that. And I've noticed that the boys actually do get a lot of sexual comments, and it's not necessarily like sexual comments, but gearing that way where girls are like, "You're so hot, I fancy you, will you have my babies, will you marry me?" All those comments, like, those comments are not saying, "I really enjoyed the ideas that you put into this video, I really enjoyed the editing, or I really enjoyed the production value." They're just saying, "You're so hot, you're so hot." So I think that as much as women are potentially underrated on YouTube, like, guys are facing this problem as well. It's just that it's so normal for us to see "you're so hot, that we don't take any notice of it. We're like, of course they're hot, yeah. But, you know, no one's saying, like, "What a great video that you made there." They're just saying, "I want to have your babies."
Yeah, I agree, but I still think men get "you are hot," and women get "you look cheap." We've had, like, "your skin looks bad today. Why is that? Your eye makeup is horrible." Men don't get that.
Your eyeshadow?
Yeah.
I think they do, but I do think that when it's a more violent comment, I mean, men might get like, "I hate you and I want to kill you," and that is still a horrible and very credible threat. You should take that seriously if someone threatens to kill you. But I do think that it's not just "you are ugly," it's like, "you are ugly and this is what I'm going to do to you because of it," is a lot for women.
Yeah.
I think there's 2 different types of comments there. There is that, I mean, there's so many different types. There's like what I call like the troll to troll, someone who's literally doesn't even watch your video, just runs by, says something and runs away. there's the kind of cruel image-based comment, and then there's the like sexually violent undertones comment. But as I think Lex was saying, if you're going around and you feel quite like vulnerable and you feel like you're getting harassed a lot, that kind of makes those comments even more heightened and even more personal and even more scary. But how do you guys respond? Do you respond at all to comments like that? Do you just ignore them? What's your...
Anything threatening, I immediately delete it, because I don't think it's just not worth engaging, you know? So I think just to not even give them a voice.
I think anything negative, don't take away their voice by deleting it, because if anyone comments to argue, even though you might think you're educating them or changing their minds, ultimately you're just giving them the attention they want. Yeah. If you just get rid, bye.
That's the way I deal with it.
I think that's probably the best way. With a lot of things I'll delete, but every now and then you just want to be a bit sassy back. Yeah. Like you just, if it's kind of like an easy comment to kind of come back with, like there's a spelling mistake in it or something, like you just can't help being a bit sassy. Yeah. I also think as well, like, reply with positivity. Like if as long as it's not threatening and it's just like, oh yeah, that's a bit dumb or something, like you can kind of condescend. Yeah, you can kind of reply and be like quite positive about stuff, and a lot of the time people just come back and are like, I'm so sorry, oh my god, I didn't mean that. Yeah. I think the main thing I feel is like a really important for men and women, but particularly women, is when you get a nasty comment or anything, you should be reminded every single time that how much personal information are you putting out there? Because you might get like a threat or a nasty message, but can they get hold of you in real life? That's kind of what freaks me out. And a lot of people, I think, have had personal experiences with this. I personally had like sort of my private emails found out, but I've always been very careful about how much information I give away. And I think it's kind of getting scarier than ever now. We can like tag ourselves into locations, and we can there's literally like an overshare now of information. I think that's quite important. You know, your personal safety and your information online.
With the comments, little practical tip: if you have a YouTube channel, does anyone here have a YouTube channel? If you there's a settings bit, I think it's in community or somewhere, you'll find it. You can actually ban words. So good. I've banned like fat, ugly, gap tooth. That's my favourite. Like all the sexual words, swear words, and also check out, so that everyone's like, check out my channel. It's like, no.
And you can also go and review them as well. So like if someone
actually has a really good channel, you can be like, yes, you can. I will check out your channel. But just like a top tip, because then like you're not seeing it and you're not taking it in. So if you're seeing these comments and you're like being personally offended by them, you can like block that before they even get to your eyes, which I think is incredible.
That's really good, because I was just going to say, even though you can delete them, you know, they're deleted off the computer, but maybe they're not deleted in your head.
That's a song, that is.
Right. The only thing that worries me about that kind of thing is that sometimes people are making threats, and if I wasn't seeing them at all, like I think it's really mentally healthy to not see that stuff, because it does really get into your head. But I do sometimes get, you know, real threats, and when it's like a serious threat, that's the kind of thing that you should probably try and take to the police. Like if you feel like your life is actually being threatened or someone's actually threatening to harm you, always try and take that to like a member of authority or speak to someone about it, because that can be really scary. But yeah, generally that's a really good idea. Filter your comments.
If you're trying to kill me, I just don't know about it.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, I sleep well at night.
So Laura touched on this, but there are a lot of YouTubers, a lot of really, 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 really big YouTubers who stopped making videos for a little while or permanently because they had stalkers, and that's like the next level. Do you think that's something, obviously it's not particular to YouTube, but do you think that's something that's going to happen more as the celebrity status of YouTubers kind of grows? Like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to go for this first. Jumping in. Yes, I do. It's a weird one, because people think, oh, like, I really know you and I like you, and they think of us as their friends. So the normal boundaries that people would have with essentially strangers aren't there. I know that Zoe, who's down here, do a little wave. There she is, doing a little wave for you. Yeah. She's had people like stand outside her apartment, like not just like, oh, once some girls, like on a daily basis, and ring her buzzer over and over and over again. And none of them think that's not acceptable. And if she would say, guys, like, what are you doing? They'd just be crushed, because they're just thinking, oh, I want to see Zoella, who's our friend. And I think that's a problem with boundaries, where people don't have them. That's not the same as like actual like weirdo stalkers. They're just like nice girls with their intentions, their heart in the right place. brains not so much. But I think that stalkers could easily happen. Easily.
Well, we've had stalkers, haven't we? We had stalkers come all the way from France.
Well, we didn't mean to. I don't know how our address it didn't get leaked, but we probably filmed too much of the surrounding area where we live. And I went to work one day, and I noticed, because she tweeted me quite a lot, and I noticed her profile picture, and she was just there. And I was just like,
she watched you outside of your work for all day, didn't she?
So it can be, even though, you know, it's like non-threatening, it still feels a little bit imposing, and you don't want to be cruel to these people. So it's, like you said, it's difficult. It's a balance,
but also if someone can find out that information, I suppose you could say, you know, with this one-off, it wasn't someone who wanted to harm you or wasn't threatening, but you know that someone else can find the same information out. So it's, you know.
Yeah, I've had about 3 or 4 pretty serious stalkers, one of whom found my old address, and I feel like the problem I have with talking about it is the same problem a lot of the much bigger YouTubers have talking about it. You don't want to call attention to it. Exactly the same as when people are leaving the bad comments. You don't want to give those people what they want, which is essentially your FaceTime and your attention. And I think that's kind of stopped that from really being tackled. And it's only recently that YouTube figured out that there is some sort of link there and starting to put features like the comment blockers that I guess try and catch it early on. So I think like more support from the platform would be really, really great. From all your guys' perspective, is there like a feature that you'd want YouTube to add in?
Hands up who's utterly terrified now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, like a feature, or is there... One thing I always want is like, again, we will get on to slightly less terrifying topics, but I really want like the police to be more educated about this stuff, so that if there is something serious, you feel really comfortable being able to go and talk about it. I would like to see more kind of cooperation between like websites and that stuff. I don't know if anyone...
I would like to see people's real names and their real pictures. I don't know how you would police that, but I think that a lot of people would be a lot more reluctant to say the things they say or do the things they do. If it, like mine, I know it says Sprinkleofglitter, but it's very easy to find Louise Pentland, and that's definitely my picture.
Yeah.
If everybody had to do like maybe a short intro video, just 10 seconds, being like, "Hi, I'm Sarah from Brighton," and then that's their picture, then you would know that is Sarah from Brighton. Like, I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's just so easy, isn't it, to hide behind false pictures, which makes it such an easy sort of platform to be cruel. But no, you're quite right. I think I agree. I can't think of anything at the moment.
I can't think of a feature.
I think when you are doing videos though, and you've got the exposure, I started when I was 17, and I was just lucky that I did stuff with Radio 1, and they told me never to give my full name out. And I've stuck by that since, because it's great because no one can find out your address and no one really knows anything about you.
My channel name is my full name.
So I think I know what you mean, because I suppose if everyone has their full name out, then I think that's what kind of Google are gearing towards with the Google Plus thing, I think. Right. But at the same time, I know it's going to be a point where I've got to kind of release like all my information. But I'd say maybe if you're just starting out and you're maybe under 18, and that's kind of like the main sort of, I don't know, target for kind of creepiness and stuff. Start off just maybe with your first name and an alter ego, or just maybe just be a bit careful about how much you give away, and then lead into that, I suppose.
I never wanted my full name to be online, and I went to great lengths to not have it online, and my parents told me not to. Then a male YouTuber thought it would be funny to put my full name in a video, and from then on I just had to go by my full name.
Because it was out there.
Because he just didn't think that was a problem. He didn't think that anything would come of it. He wasn't afraid to have his full name on the internet, so why would I? And from then on I just had to go by it, because it was a big YouTuber and everyone then knew who I was. So that was great.
That shows the difference then between male and female YouTubing experiences, doesn't it? That he can have his full name out there, and
or perhaps he's not fearful
you're getting
of
the
having
threats.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think, like, I don't know too much about this, but I assume that big male YouTubers also get stalked. I think, you know, it's definitely not a gender-specific thing, but I do think that, there are parts of being a woman that make it feel like
more dangerous,
a little bit more dangerous, possibly. I mean, that's not entirely true. If you have a stalker, they could be really serious no matter what your gender is, but yeah. Don't know what I'm saying.
I just think in general stalking is probably quite dangerous.
Yeah. Don't stalk people. So, okay, going back to the comments thing. So, from a creator perspective, it's obviously not that great when you see a nasty or bad or a generally scary or uncomfortable comment. But for your viewers and your community, do you feel kind of a responsibility to sort of protect them from those sorts of comments going on, or maybe, I guess, like encouraging them to leave good comments on any creator they find? Like, how do you see it? Do you see it as something affecting the community as well as you individually when you see those comments?
I definitely do. I always try and encourage people to see, I'm going to say sprinklerinos, I know it's well cringe, sprinklerinos as like their friends and family, and to treat them as such. And I always say, like, if you've got a problem, put it in the comments, and if someone else has the answer to that, like, feel free. That's not a question for me, that's just a question for your community. So I really want to nurture like a really safe and loving environment in comments, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or wherever really. And if I see like a-hole comments, I'll just delete them, and they don't get through because of all my little filters. Lol, 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 lol.
I think that if you're a young girl watching maybe a woman on YouTube that you look up to, and you know, if you may not be that confident, and then you see this YouTuber putting themselves out there and then receiving these negative comments, it's not going to make those young people watching, it's not going to make them feel confident, it's not going to make them want to put themselves out there.
Or it might have the opposite adverse effect. They might think, well, you know, that's my idol on YouTube, they get negativity and they carry on exactly the same way. So it could be a bit of a mixture. I mean, it's different for us, isn't it? Because we've got our sort of community is quite strongly LGBT, so they all look out for each other, as I'm sure any other community would. What I normally do is let people have a voice. If it's offensive, get rid of it. If it's constructive or educational, let it just flow. There you go.
Yeah. I think people with a nice audience, as in people who don't receive a lot of hate, I think that's a real way that people can help each other online. If you've got a really nice audience and you show your support to another content creator, you're going to bring your nice audience and lack of hate over to that other person, rather than just giving someone mass exposure, because that often comes with a lot of hate.
Spread the love.
Yeah, spread the love. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess like a little while ago we started talking about kind of supportive networks of women. I think it took a little while to translate that into like actually what you're finding is that's your community, not necessarily even just of women, of viewers and supporting each other. Lex does a really cool thing now where she comments on every single video she watches. Do you still do that?
Yeah.
Okay, she still does that, mostly. And I feel like that's a really nice way as well to spread the love and create really good communities. And some of you might be thinking as well, especially if you're just starting out, that those communities need to be kind of 300 or 500 or however many people big. That's not true. You can have those supportive networks within 3 or 4 or 5 people, and it's always lovely to see kind of the same names coming back as well if you like someone's videos. It's a good way to support people. I'm going to open up to questions in a second, so start thinking.
We've only got 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I'll race through.
Pressure.
Now I feel under pressure though.
No, I'm just helping.
So much pressure.
Because you've not got a watch on.
Okay, my final question is, how do you guys spread the word about female creators that you love?
You made a bit of a dedication video to Grace Helberg, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And I was really pleased that she made you a video back.
She made my career.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just visibility again, isn't it? Talking about the people that you love, even if it is just sort of like admiration videos.
I think within the YouTube community, not everyone at all, but I think sometimes there's a little bit of hierarchy where you might notice someone who's really good, but might think, well, I've got a bit more subscribers than them.
Shunned.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important whether someone's lesser, because obviously you were much lesser than Grace Helberg, but it shows she's supporting a fellow woman. You share a lot of fans.
I noticed that about Grace actually. She really does. If she sees talent, she really does support that, and I think that's really important. Never to have a superiority
because
complex
everyone
or
started
anything.
somewhere.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and if you see sort of potential in someone, if you recognise that and support it, then that's what you can do.
I'd say just if you make videos and you collaborate and things like that, just get women involved. I'm sick of seeing all male sketches, so I've been writing loads of sketches with women in them because they can be just as funny. And all this rubbish about, oh, well, you can't have a woman in that, it's got to be a man, is rubbish. You can always have a woman in a role. There's always a way of making it funny. So that's the way I've kind of been doing it. I've just been kind of, trying to get more women into comedy. And it doesn't mean they have to be comedians. They can be kind of other vloggers. But I've just been getting them into my sketches. That's the way I've been trying to kind of get my way around it.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. I haven't
haven't done anything particularly like on this campaign for women, bad woman. But I just think that if you see a video that you like, and if it is by a woman, great, comment on it or like it or give it a little tweet. Like, I always enjoy it. I always have a little comment or a like on yours, don't I? I do.
People are like, did you know Louise saw this video? I'm like,
yeah. I know. Or like, if you've got friends like me and Zoe, we make videos together, and I think that I don't really focus too much on like, this is a man's video, so I like this best. I'm just like, I really like these videos, so I'm going to show them a lot of love. And if you just show everybody love, man and woman, they say all ships rise with high tides. So if you're sharing all the love, then everybody rises together. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I also.
That's a song.
That is a song.
I think it's really easy to say, you know, there aren't that many big female YouTubers, or I don't personally know any big female YouTubers, so I'm not going to make.
Just down there.
Zoella is there, I can see her. But I mean, a lot of people, I think, will say like, oh, well, I don't know that many women who make videos and stuff like that. But it's really easy to be part of the problem. I think that if you do that, you stay a part of the problem instead of, you can actively help to fix that. And you can say, well, there's only this percentage of women in the top 100 or whatever. And then you can be like, that's a problem that we can actually address. We don't have to just go, that's how it is. It is something that you can be bringing women up with you, and you can be, you know, networking with women, making videos with women. You don't have to be part of the problem.
Awesome. I'm going to open up to some quick questions. We've got like 5 minutes left. So,
That lady.
yeah, it's right in the middle, right there. There's a mic running around.
Quick question. Does YouTube have an infrastructure in place to protect you from the scary violent stuff? And do you think they should? And secondly, do you guys have particular goals in terms of encouraging women to join YouTube and be as creators and collab and things like that to grow the women YouTube community?
You little monkey, you said that was going to be a quick question. That's a biggie, isn't it? But you deserved it because you had your arm up for a long time. No, YouTube don't have anything in place. It'd be nice if they did, but I'm not sure how they would do that. And I don't have enough thoughts on that to give that a good answer. And as for encouraging women to be on YouTube, we're doing this, and there's loads of women here. So I'm going to say this and move on to Lex, whose surname I will not say.
Thanks, Louise. They don't have anything in place. I think at the beginning, YouTube was a platform, and there was no reason for them to maybe think that that was something they should be doing, because it was just, this is our website and we upload things. But now YouTube is very much encouraging the community aspect. They're really aware of vloggers. They're really trying to help vloggers. And obviously, you know, abusive stuff is part of that. So I do think that is a thing they could address. I don't know exactly how they would do it. I'm not an expert at these things. But I definitely think that more support could be available. You know, there could be a place for people to go. There could be an easier way to report things that are actually really scary. I mean, as Rosanna was saying, that also involves the police cooperating with that kind of thing. Because we also have this huge gap in knowledge where law enforcement don't really know that much about the internet, as far as, you know, to my experience. It's a new thing still to them, so they don't necessarily have laws in place for that, which isn't great. So it would be nice if there was some way for both of those areas to grow and for people to know a bit more about that.
It's just so hard, isn't it? I mean, it's just so hard to police the internet. I think it is
I
getting
think there
better.
should be a way, though, because YouTube have that thing where they automatically detect if a comment is spam and tells you already. So surely it could just add, like Louise said, you could add words. So I don't see why it couldn't just detect any racism or violent language and just get rid of it just as it detects spam. I think maybe it's something that could happen in the future, because obviously technology is always getting better and better. I don't see why it wouldn't happen. I've seen so many people today walking around with these Google glasses on, so I don't see why YouTube can't like up its game. It's got to, you know, it's got to move forward. As for encouraging other women to be on YouTube, YouTube has pros and cons to being on YouTube. It can, you know, give you amazing opportunities, but at the same time it is, you know, if you're a very personal person, you know, it is sharing a lot with strangers, and they do, you know, if they become invested with someone, as Louise said, they think you're their friends, which is fine. You want to make friends, but, you know,
it can be your worst critic as well, can't
it can be your best friend, and it can be your worst critic. So I don't think I don't know about encouraging women to be on YouTube. I just think that's, if anyone wants to do something, then they should just go and do that.
If you're original and you've got a talent,
yeah,
there's
and
nothing stopping you.
I think everyone should just empower women to, you know, always step up and try and do what they want to do, and nothing could stop them.
Okay, I think we've got time for exactly... Oh, did you...
No, don't worry. It's pretty much
good.
I was just going to say, I think YouTube are pretty on the ball with stuff like this, but I think, again, it's hard to monitor. But it's kind of out of their control with things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the other sites as well, which you're giving information out on and they can contact you on. So that's just another thing that you almost have to monitor yourself as well, just so let you know.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question. We did one for this side, so I'm going to go right there, right in the middle, in I think a checked or spotted shirt. Yeah, right there.
If you could do anything to represent and encourage women to join YouTube, what would you do and why?
I would say start a YouTube channel and really, really enjoy it and just do what you're really passionate about. And when you're making it, don't think about, I'm a woman, just think I'm a person making a YouTube channel. You don't need to focus on that. You don't need to focus too much on being a woman. Just focus on making good content that you enjoy and good content. Yowzers. Good content doesn't necessarily have to be what you've seen other people do. Like, good content is subjective, so you make what you think is best. Also, just going to throw this out there. I saw it briefly. Your hair is fantastic. What a good hair day. Stand up a second. Stand up. Look at this lady's hair. That is nice hair. Nice hair.
I think knowing that there are supportive groups of women out there that will help you if you do feel like it's difficult to be a woman on the internet, that is helpful as well. Like, we'll all help you. But, you know, get in contact with other women if you feel like that's something that you need support with.
I'm kind of like going to tag on to Louisa's here and say, you have a right to kind of occupy space. As women, we're taught we're not allowed to occupy space, and also there are studies that show that if they have a room full of a mix of about 20% women and 80% men, sorry, that took me a bit too long, then people think it's half full of women, because women are seen to occupy more space and they don't have as much of a right to be there. We have an opportunity with the internet to sort that out and say, this is my space, I'm going to take it up, this is my voice, and I think just put yourself out there, and you have to feel, it takes a while to get to a point where you feel empowered enough to say that you can do that, but I think we're getting there.
If I was to give any woman advice who was starting a YouTube channel, I'd say as well, don't be pressured to be a stereotypical woman as well. Like, if you're a girly woman into makeup, that's awesome. But if you want to be not like that, you know, everyone gets negative comments, everybody. Like, you should be true to yourself. You shouldn't have to, if you're going to be a woman channel, you shouldn't have to conform to other woman channels, as someone said over there. You know, don't be like other people. Be original.
Spot on. Do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, everyone.
Lovely little clap.